Where here we go. We're in a fourth down right now. And last week, my wife always says this thing where she's like, you start doing good at something and then you get arrogant, you start talking a little shit, get a little cocky, and then it backfires on you. So I go 5-0 in week 13, and I come in here and pop my collar, my mock neck, sweater, and I go 2-3 last week. Just a brutal week. I'm still over 500 at 29-26 on the season. Mike was 3-2. He is 16-10, 6 games over 500. He's absolutely crushing it this year. I will say there was a couple of picks last week that I was like, I'm sinking or floating with this ship. And that was the Cardinals at home, which was probably, I should have just stayed out of it. I should have just picked the Cardinals and said something, super braggadocious about it and just moved on. But I didn't. I picked them. They got rolled at home. Last week, Mike started. That didn't work out well for me. Since I'm the host of the show, I will be going first because I'm trying to get back into my 5-0 ways.
Well, you already got the 49ers. That's your first pick.
Week 15. I did not take the 49ers, but I did. However, I'm gonna go back to the well because it was so nice on Monday Night Football, even though it felt a little bit lucky. Dallas. Dude, you got to get away from that football. Like, I'm sitting there watching with my wife, and she's like, why would he do that? Like, she's like, why would he – she's like, did he have to pick that up? Did he have to? And I was like, absolutely not. She's like, but so why would he try to catch a bouncing ball when his player already did the hard part? And I was like, I don't even know what to say to her. I'm like, everything you're saying is right. It's like,
we're all thinking that. We're all thinking that.
But in my head, I'm like, oh shit, we can get a touchdown and cover, and Jamar Chase helped us cover. So I'm going back to that. Bengals play the Titans this week. I backed the Titans last week too against the Jaguars. I did not watch that game. I will not watch that game because there were 12 other options. I'm going to pick against the Titans this week, even though they're at home, -4.5 Cincinnati Bengals. Then the Texans coming off of a bye at home against a Dolphins team that it feels a little bit like begging to just be like, hey, just kind of let's end this conversation that we might make the playoffs or whatever. Like, the Jets should have won the game. Just watching how the end of the game was handled, there was a moment where like Devontae Adams goes out of bounds, time could have been wasted, whatever. I am going to take the Texans at home, -2.5 over the Dolphins. Then I'm going up to the Seahawks. I just keep picking against you and I keep losing. Probably happen again this week. Packers on the road, -2.5. But I think Green Bay in a sloppy game where they don't have to deal with Kenneth Walker, even though Zach Charbonnet was really, really effective last week. And I think it is crazy how good both of those running backs are and can be when they get a full complement of touches there. But I'm going to take Jordan Love in a spot to a crazy stat this week I heard from Eric Mangini. I think it's 3 games in a row where Jordan Love has less than 13 completions. Let's bring that number up a little bit. Let's get Jaden Reed involved in this from the slot. Let's try and get him out there where he gets a chance to use some, his routes. And if he is drawing Witherspoon in the slot there, then we can go outside. We need a big Wicks game. I forgot to check and see if it looks like Romeo Doubs could be back this week. Regardless, Josh Jacobs, Packers defense in a rainy game, getting some turnovers from Geno. Then in a game where I was like, this is just too many points, I'm going to Pittsburgh, +5.5. And part of this is I think the Eagles could win this game, but I think what keeps me feeling good about having 5.5 points is the field goal kicking for the Eagles is not a strength, and the field goal kicking for the Steelers is a strength. And I think Mike Tomlin will take points whenever he can get them, keeping this game close. The Steelers weren't really impressive in the rewatch of the game this week. I think they really struggle without George Pickens, which should be expected. When you're missing a top 10 wide receiver in the league, your offense probably should struggle a little bit. I think he figured out a couple different things with Mike Williams. Mike Williams got called on some BS push-off. I did not like that at all. But I'll take the Steelers there. Also, too, like, is there a moment where the Eagles maybe try to force feed the ball to A.J. Brown to try to calm the seas a little bit? That's enough for me to take the very good Steelers team defense plus 5.5. Lost my spot here. And then lastly, the sign of Micah walking off the field early and just sadness and just disbelief and like, how can we be losing? We're the Cowboys. What's going on? Keep pounding. Bryce Young has looked fantastic for a month in a row. The Panthers are favorites at home. I never thought, look at this. You're like half Crocodile Dundee, half Cowboy right now. This is
I'm
fantastic.
doing this to tell you, Tony, that the Carolina Panthers have a 0.001% chance to win the NFC South, and it starts with a victory over them Dallas Cowboys.
Love that. Love to hear that. I told Mike on a call we had earlier this week, depending on how the offseason goes and Dan Morgan and what he can do, if Tepper just stays out of the way, might be picking the Panthers to win the NFC South because Bryce Young has looked fantastic over the last 4 weeks.
Tony. Pick him this year when the Sam Darnold run to the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm still back in the Bucks, even though they are playing the Chargers this week. My son really wants to go to the game, so I'm probably going to be out there at SoFi on Sunday to watch that one. But I got the Panthers at home. Chuba Hubbard has been absolutely phenomenal. It was sad to see what happened to Jonathan Brooks. The same knee. It's fucking brutal to watch that kind of stuff. I know how hard these guys work all offseason just to get to this point of the year and how hard he's worked to get back there. It's just crazy. But I think Xavier Legette, little bounce back. That dude got rocked in that game twice. Mm-hmm. Once by Chauncey Gardner and once by Slay. And he had a couple of drops, none bigger than what could have been the game-winning catch on that one play. But Bryce showing some mobility, showing some downfield accuracy, did have the one pick. Adam Thielen still out there just balling, trying to be like, hey, I'm trying to make my case to be remembered. I'll just say that. He's putting up some really nice numbers in his career. There it is. I got Bengals -4.5 at the Titans. I got the Texans at home against the Dolphins. I got the -2.5. I got the Packers -2.5 going to Seattle. I got the Steelers going to the Eagles. I got the Steelers +5.5 and the Panthers at home -1.5. Mike, you're up.
I will say, Tony, that if your picks do good, my picks will probably do pretty good too. So that's one thing to hang your hat on this week. But the Carolina Panthers, with all that great stuff you said about them, are still on a 3-game losing streak. So I'm definitely not picking them. No way in hell. But one of the ones that I do agree with you on is that Pittsburgh Steelers pick. I think that's too many points. I think the game's going to be very, very, very close. And as much as it really hurts my fantasy matchups this week and the leagues I care about most and I want to walk out of as a champion, I think they're going to make the Eagles throw the ball to A.J. Brown more so than them have to force it to A.J. Brown, because this Steelers defense has the ability in the front seven especially to take away the rushing attack. And I think that they're going to say, like, hey, 26 ain't going to be the one that wins this war for Pennsylvania. So, unfortunately for me, I think they're going to be on their P's and Q's. I'm hoping that Saquon can still find the end zone, or Saquon can still make at least a big play or two to get that fantasy total up for me. I think the Steelers are going to force Jalen Hurts to be a passer in this one. And I could see the Eagles winning by a field goal still. I can see the Steelers winning by a field goal. I already told you guys I am picking the Rams as one of my picks against the spread, +3 points. I think they can win this game outright, but definitely be battling the 49ers down the stretch. Another one that I have here is the Bengals -5. I'm going to keep riding the hot hand as well, Tony. The raging, angry, pissed off hot hand, as I will say. And I think Jamar Chase might start eyeing some crazy numbers at this point. And it's clear this man's he's a man on a mission to prove a point that number one is the number one receiver in the league right now. So you're gonna have to pay me more than Justin Jefferson. And Joe won't quit. So give me the Bengals to beat the Titans, who I still think have a sneaky chance at the first overall pick. It would be hilarious if Shadur Sanders is like, woo, New York. Wow, Las Vegas. Been Scott now, Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Go to the Tennessee Titans, buddy. And then I have an upset of the week here for you, Tony, in my picks. Miami Dolphins +2.5 points on the road against the Texans. Wait, this doesn't even make sense. Is this the spread? Do I have the right spread here?
Yeah, you have Dolphins.
Why is it so close? Damn. I think the Dolphins are going to win the game. I think we get the upset here in Miami's favor. And then my final pick, Chargers coming back home. You know the record against the spread at home, Tony?
Undefeated.
4-1 at home against the spread. We only got to beat the Bucs by 3 points, I believe. Yep, I'll take it. Give me the Chargers win by a touchdown plus against Tampa in a fun one where Tony will be there in attendance to see the start of the Panthers' 0.01% chance to win the South with the Bucs loss and the Panthers win.
So you had
go over them real quick in order. Rams +3 over the Niners. Bengals -5 against the Titans. Steelers +5 against the Eagles. Dolphins +2.5 against the Texans. And the Chargers -3 at home, hosting Tampa.
I absolutely love that.